Okay, so the review, everybody had a chance to read the one that I sent out, right, of everything that's on there. So it's fairly simple and straightforward. When they have questions, they might have questions about, you don't even have to report that stuff that I gave you. It's just in the packet apparently. So if they have any questions, they could ask you or me or anybody on the committee, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. I met with the superintendents, with Stephanie Bridey, to talk to them about the current status of the Recovery Build program, which we now have 10 kids enrolled. And I believe it's 6 in Dennis and 4 in Falmouth. We have kids asking to stay past the 6-month period of time, which they can't, so we've turned them into peer mentors, which is really wonderful, so they get to still get the support of trying to stay sober and clean. And we had a field day that I didn't get to be at because I was in another meeting. It was part of the United Way Day of Action, and so it happened over at the Cultural Center from 4 to 7 p.m. last Thursday. And Jan McGrory, who some of you know is a retired teacher, was just so touched to see these kids just being kids. They were balancing cookies on their forehead, trying to get them into their mouth, and throwing water balloons around, and just having a really good time together. So, and they love the staff so much that they actually told them when they were leaving, "Love you, Lisa. Love you, so and so." It's just they just built a great program. And so the superintendents, they let us know that they were interested if things started in other towns, and we also let them know about the PASS program, which is Positive Alternative to School Suspension, because we now have it up and running in Dennis and Barnstable schools. It costs money to do it, but it's not a lot for what you get. And so they've been kids going in for anywhere from 3 to 5 days for suspension. They have access to homework help, a mental health, a clinical assessment, and we've flagged a couple of kids for the APG program out of the assessments because that was greater than mental health issues at the time. So just people it's another way of catching kids upstream. So, and again, one kid had finished his 5 days and said, "Can I come back?" And they said, "No, you've done your time." So, so that's going really well too. 30 kids have been through. So,
through PASS.
Through PASS, yeah. Maybe more by now. So the middle school social, you guys want to talk about that?
Yeah, I think it went well. Having it be in Chatham, I thought was easier to manage with kind of like one door.
Yeah.
Where the Harwich Community Center, there's all those different, where kids were kind of
egress.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I thought that the facility was great. I think the facilitator did a fantastic job.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's got a good control over a large group with his callbacks and stuff like that. And I think all the kids had a blast.
Yep.
And Sharon is so helpful.
I know. We're going to have the next one. I think we were going to try to shoot for one in December at the Harwich Community Center. We'll see. But I remember last year a lot of the parents went shopping when they dropped their kids off. So Sharon has access to that laser tag and also something, what was that thing called? Knuckleball?
Oh, I never heard of
Knucklehead?
it before.
I can't remember the name of it. But I have no idea what it is, but the kids love playing it. So.
Does our resident team know what it is?
No.
No, I've never heard of it.
It's too cool for knuckleball.
So we'll see how, but yeah, I thought it was great. He really was masterful with those kids, the way he not only got them, excited and like a pep rally, but just that, he had them all quiet in the bleachers.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
Do we have an estimate of how many kids were there?
I'll have to ask Sharon, but it looked like 2 sheets. It looked like there were probably about 75 kids, but there might have been more. And thank you very much. I'm going to publicly acknowledge in this meeting your parents. Your amazing parents. I walked in and I was kidding around. I'd never met them, and I said, "What, are you two here as gluttons for punishment. He goes, these are my parents. And I went, you guys are volunteering? It was great.
And we should give a public shout out to Thomas Chase, the sole high school student who came instead of going to the homecoming football game to volunteer.
Of course, it was Thomas
Thomas.
Chase.
Of course,
He was a big help,
he was a
too.
huge help.
He wants to go to the FBI Academy.
Yeah, he's a good.
He did?
He wants to.
He wants
I'm gonna
to.
help him with his
Oh, my
application.
gosh. And he has a sister at the high school, correct?
Middle school.
Middle school. So
Yeah, so he deserves a special shout out. for
thank you,
being
Thomas.
The only one, because there were a few others that signed up and then realized it was the same time as the football game and really changed their RSVP to volunteer.
That's great.
So maybe when we pick a date for December, we think about if there's any high school events to avoid.
Yes,
Then we'll
yeah.
get some more high school kids.
Do they usually have homecoming that particular weekend?
Mhm.
It's around then.
I always thought it was the weekend after, but anyway.
Ish.
They didn't really
Ish.
advertise it very well. I feel like
Yeah.
the only people who knew were like high school students. Like I didn't hear that many people in the community know about the.
I always thought it was it ever in the district calendar? It,
Is it probably
Homecoming weekend? you know, the one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. I'll ask at the end of the year too, as far as if they have any plans for the following fall. So, okay, yeah, I'll look into that.
What about if we're doing something in December?
Mhm.
Do you think there's any interest for doing like a daytime event?
Oh, possibly, so have it like on a Saturday during the day?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just because I think there are fewer daytime things happening in that time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And even if we tied it into, go do your holiday shopping, the middle schoolers can come play for a couple hours. I
Mm-hmm,
don't know.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know if that takes away some of the appeal of like being out at night doing something.
Oh, I don't think so. They're middle schoolers. I think they're happy to
Right.
just be any place where,
That's something
Sure.
to think about.
yeah. Let me ask
good
Eric
idea.
what's available to.
Yeah, like 3 to 5 or something.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
to kind of break the day up a little
Would
bit.
financially, then we don't only have to get them snacks and not pizza. Well, I don't think it's that. I think she gets a good deal down
Yeah.
there, but yeah.
Yeah, or like 2 to 4 or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Just to consider.
I'll put my head together with her. I know she doesn't work Saturday, but it doesn't mean we can't find plenty of chaperones and stuff. So,
Right.
yeah. And I think we'd probably be able to get more kids that way too, more high school kids.
Mhm.
So,
Definitely.
yeah.
Is there like rec basketball that uses the gym on Saturdays
That's what I
though?
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what those schedules are like.
I'll ask
Check
Eric.
on that.
Yep. Okay, good. All the rest of the stuff that I would have is just future stuff going forward, like I'm going to apply for some of that opioid settlement money to do some things like the Save a Life tour, so I don't have to go through foundations to try to get that money. Remember the event where they use simulators and stuff? So, but we talked today about how we really want to focus on 7th and 8th grade around that stuff, because it's so much harder to get 9th through 12th graders out of their classes. The teachers don't like it. I think 8th grade teachers are more amenable to it.
Well, I think there's also benefit to doing it before they're drivers.
Yeah. yeah.
Kind of, I think sometimes once they're already at that stage, they think they already know everything and,
Mhm.
Making them aware ahead of time.
right,
Yeah.
kind of instilling that before it's something that they're actually even doing yet.
Yeah.
There's some value to that.
That's a good point.
I think it's easier to prevent it from happening than it is to
Right.
stop it once it's started.
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Because they get in their habits and they're like, I'm fine, I'm going to keep doing it this way. And that's harder to change than kind of.
Yeah, nothing
creating
bad's
that-
happened yet, so I'm good.
Right.
I've
then-
got them in control.
Especially
Exactly.
the texting and driving thing, because they see their parents do it, and I think middle school kids would be more likely to say, "Put that phone down," than high school kids.
Oh, high school kids still say it.
Do they?
Yeah, I
At
checked
all?
on Life 360. I can see how many phone pickups there were while driving in my family.
Mhm.
It's
You
like
can?
400 a week. Yeah,
Whoa.
Can I see that?
yeah, but not individually. It's just
Oh, as a group.
yeah.
Because this is being recorded now, should we say our names for the record, or will the notes be enough, do you think?
I think it's listed in the minutes.
Okay, all right, great. Wasn't sure, this is my first time doing this, so. All right. And I don't have anything else. I don't know if anybody else does.
I have one thing, and we talked about it last year. Jeff and I talked about it at length, but I think it might, and I don't know if this is the right group to try to figure it out, but the Adventure Park Project Adventure, something like that. And I think we talked about it in the spring, and then, you know, summer happened and whatever. But I was at the Falmouth High School, and I don't know if it's Project Adventure, but they have a ropes course, climbing wall, and it's the amount of land that it's on doesn't seem like it's massive. So I think we should try to figure that out, but I don't know if that would be under our umbrella or if that's...
You mean to bring Monomoy into doing that as a...
Or to try to create a space in our town somewhere.
Oh, I see, yeah.
You know who might be a good advocate for that too is because they do have like a miniature version of it inside the gym at the middle school.
They do, Kathy Andrews.
Kathy Andrews sheet, but it's
Yeah.
literally like I was looking at what it was, and I think it's 3, maybe 4 obstacles.
There's more than that.
that are all like within like
There's like,
they kind of use the same pillars, so like you can probably interchange. So maybe it's 6 because you can double them up to change.
Mm-hmm.
there's the cargo net, firecracker. There's 2 of the ones where it's like you pull, whole class pulls you up and they release you and you like swing back and forth. And then there's like this one that's like a ladder kind of, but it's giant. And then
That's called the
Catap-
Jacob's ladder.
There's a centipede one that's like the one that the wooden poles with the metal stakes inside. And then there's a regular ladder. The firecracker it's a rope with rungs on it, but it's 1 rope down the middle, and then the regular ladder is 2 ropes on the side with rungs going up it. So that's probably like 6, yeah.
And then there was a trapeze too, so I don't know if like there's one that where you go up and you can jump to it or something. But I saw a trapeze up there too. So I
The
don't
little
know.
platforms? Or
No, just like there's a single bar.
Oh, there is.
Oh.
I don't know
So-
if we use those. I don't know if they
We used to have kids that were like, if they were good at it, we'd blindfold them
Oh, really?
and have them try to do the jump.
Oh,
Because if you're really good at it, you're not pushing yourself. So let's make it harder when we put blindfolds on people. They'd have to do the climb and jump blindfolded and stuff.
Yeah, I did that a lot in middle school, and we did like a field trip. Like, was it over the summer?
Yeah, she did like a camp.
I like went in over the summer, and I went there for like a week, and we did extra training on all of the different obstacles, and then we got trained on how to belay. So then the following year, I was in 7th grade, and I was belaying other students during class. So like usually they would be harnessed into Miss Andrews, and she would like belay them up as they were climbing. But I was doing that in my class in 7th grade, and we got to go on a field trip to Sandwich. Was it Sandwich?
Mhm.
Oh,
To
that
the-
was
to the
cool.
Because they used to have it at
Heritage
Heritage, but they
Yeah.
closed it. Yeah.
yeah, I remember the place in Sandwich.
Yeah, but now they have the one in Canton. No,
I
Canton.
think it is Canton.
Is it Canton?
Either
I've been
Carver or
climbing in so
something.
long.
Yeah, since we went there.
Yeah.
Should we invite this guy to our next meeting, or?
Oh, Kathy Andrews.
Yeah, or, I mean, it's Kathy?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
We could. I just don't know if it's under this umbrella. Like, I wonder if it's something maybe we support as a committee.
Yeah,
But I mean, it obviously is going to need funding. So
yeah.
As like a town thing, like similar to a playground, or like a
I don't
local
know.
business.
I think I'd like to see. I think you benefited from learning all those.
Oh yeah. It put me way out of my comfort zone.
Right.
I learned problem solving skills. It was like, and I don't think that we got enough time in school to take advantage of all the benefits of it. But when I did the program, it like pushed me farther.
Right.
Yeah, because even like the ground obstacles, where you do it as a group,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's
like,
a ton of those too.
a good facilitator will see like, you can manipulate in a good way to bring out leadership skills from kids that normally wouldn't try to step up into that role. So you can and you don't want to call them out by name, so you can almost like kind of look around and be like, all right, this shy person over here, like really, you can see them kind of wanting to help, but they don't. All those kids that have purple sneakers, okay, you are the only ones that can talk right now. And so if you have purple sneakers, you have the ability to help the group do X, Y, Z. And then so all of a sudden the person that normally wouldn't want to step up in that role is trying to come out of their shell a little bit. And you can do it vice versa for the people that are trying to hog it too much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you have white sneakers on, you've lost your ability to talk.
Ooh, I need that rule.
And I mean, we used to do it with groups.
Yeah.
We used to do it with AA groups, and we would set up problems for them where there was no way to actually successfully do it, and you just have to keep telling them that at any point they can talk to us about why they're not being successful and ask for help, and then you use that as like a metaphor for what they actually had to do, which was until they were ready to ask for help, they couldn't try to conquer that demon. And so it was like the whole entire, even though they thought that there was a possible way to be successful in this, it really wasn't. It was the actual goal was for them just to ask for help, and then you talk about how that whole exercise was a metaphor for what they're going through, which was asking for help with their addiction. And so it's just like a little spark of like, oh, and like that's not the goal. That was the goal, It's,
Right.
There was all sorts of things. So a nonprofit is what the one I worked for was a nonprofit, and they had hundreds and hundreds of groups go through every year.
So what is the model for these usually? Is it usually like a town-owned property, a business-owned property? Did the nonprofit like own the property?
Yeah, the one I worked at, the nonprofit, which was a nature center, owned the property,
Okay.
and then it was attached to the site, but I think for liability reasons they had to have it as its own entity because the liability on that obviously would really crush their other activities like their gardens and all that stuff. So they kept it as its own entity with its own technical staff. Because you have to have a certification.
Right.
You have to get the Belay certification.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, a facilitator has to have first aid.
It has to be insured and everything.
Yeah. And the ones that I only know about on the Cape are the middle school, Chatham, and then Nauset High School has a course as well. And I know that at least one of those gym teachers are certified because Addie
Weeks. Or
She's-
Addie, she doesn't mean the last name now.
Addie's
I love it.
And it's
Louise.
on their property,
Yep.
it is
owned by the school?
It is on, yep, and there's got to be some sort of safety mechanism for the, ropes and everything to be up so that kids can't use it, because I think it's like, yeah,
Is that one outdoors?
yes,
Okay.
yes. So I guess, and I think I think about it more because of kind of the two different groups we have kind of coming through the ranks. So we've got the, like, upper middle school kiddos who, are faces in their phone. They don't know how to communicate with each other. And there's not a lot of like problem solving that's happening in that group. But then I also think of the younger kids that are coming up that the pandemic stopped their ability to have cooperative learning and problem solving and turn taking and things like that. And I just think that something like this would be such a great benefit to both of those groups. And maybe because of, how it has to all go down, we might miss the middle school kids, but the other ones are coming, So, I don't know.
Adventure-based learning, I think it can really like help kids and show them a different, especially if it's outdoors. Inside, yeah, you have more control and it probably keeps the cap on liability and stuff like that. But when you're outside, like there's also the message, like, we would talk on the walk to that we're walking through woods. If you look around you, it's pristine woods. Well, I know we're having snack out here. I don't want to see your trash. Whatever you bring with you, you bring out.
There's so many life lessons.
Don't litter, like, and then you're literally now talking about like being a steward of the environment, like, so there's so many good methods, and a good facilitator too will take what you're learning there and explain how, yeah, this to you is a fun day out of school, but what you're doing here directly correlates to some of the things you're learning in school, and you talk a lot about like the differences between like, okay, you enjoyed that climbing wall, but if you're going to go out and climb a real wall, the things you learn in your hard science classes, geology and stuff like that, those things are important to you, because if you climb shale, that's rock's gonna break and you're gonna fall and you're gonna hurt yourself.
Mhm.
So you wanna climb, you wanna know what you're doing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And, and then communication, you talk about what, it just, it all translates to what you're learning inside a traditional classroom, I think.
Yeah.
You just have to make that
Definitely
correlation.
connects.
Yeah.
But I agree that kids are like not problem solving or thinking for themselves
Or
or
we're able to
interacting.
work things out with each other,
Right.
I had to teach a girl
I think
how
it
to
is great for
round.
building confidence too.
Yeah.
Yes.
You what?
I had to teach a girl how to round a decimal today. She
I'm
was.
in the right place. Is this budget?
This is youth services?
Okay. It isn't, then I don't know where I'm supposed to be. I'm sorry about the interruption. That's
Okay. It's hard when it's a Monday night too. Go
Yeah.
ahead, sorry.
But I work in an 8th grade classroom, and she didn't know how to round, and she was like, she first of all she didn't know how to round, and then she was like, well, what do I round to? And there was a page on the front of the packet they were working on. They were doing a lab. It had like probably 30 different bullet points with every instruction she possibly could need. Every question she asked me the whole class, she could have found it in the front page of the packet.
So even
And
self-problem solving.
I was like, hey, just flip the page, just look through and see if you can find an answer there before you come to me or the teacher to ask a question. Because and the first couple times she was asking me questions, I just answered them, and then Miss Manning looked at me and she was like, you need to tell her to do it herself. And I was like, okay. And I looked in the packet and I was like, every single thing is on here. And she didn't even look. She didn't even think to look.
Yeah.
And that's how the whole class is. Like, they just don't, you're right, they're just not problem solving at all, even on like the most basic levels, which is like a huge
Sheila,
problem.
just excuse me 1 second. Is it possible that they had it reserved at 5:45, or did you reserve it all the way through?
She said she reserved it all the way through.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what she told me.
Okay, I just
but
wanted to
yeah,
clarify.
Yep. Yeah. Till 6.
Okay.
Wait a minute, but it is possible because we usually have our meeting on the 17th. So, I don't know.
But someone from their subcommittee would have come in too
Yeah,
already.
Exactly, not
Okay.
just one person, so. I was thinking along the lines of this, whether we could sponsor some sort of the way the churro program is for,
That's what I was thinking,
but have this be to this place in Falmouth, bus the kids there, but I'm not sure.
Well, I don't know if that's Project Adventure, and it's on the Falmouth High School property, so I don't know anything about it, but it just sparked me thinking about it again and wanting to bring it up in this group.
Yeah,
So is that a more typical model to have them as part of high schools? Or
Well, yours was part of a
standalone?
nature center, but
The original adventure-based learning, that Project Adventure started in Beverly, Mass, I think in the 70s. And their headquarters is still there. I mean, so it's in our state. But it started as like, you had to go through them to get certified and even understand the construction process. So like when I took my class, half of my class that I took in college was to get that certification to like know how to build and maintain all the apparatuses and be signed off on it. What was weird though is that I was already an employee there, but I had to do it for my degree. But that was all outside of school systems, and I think though that the basics that you can do is that other schools were like, wow, that's really neat. Like, can't we just integrate it into our physical education program? My high school had that.
Okay.
The first time I was introduced to it was at my high school, and I
Okay.
literally was like, wow, this is
Oh.
really neat. And it definitely was something that you noticed right away that it wasn't just, okay, hey guys, we're going to be playing lacrosse today, and all of a sudden, all the varsity guys are just wrecking everybody and scoring goals. All of a sudden, you had all these people that were successful doing these quirky things where it wasn't traditional sports.
So maybe it's something we put together a proposal and present it to the school district? I don't know. Or do
We
some research?
maybe we could do a little Zoomy with Kathy and see if she has suggestions about the way to put it.
And even maybe reach out to Beverly if the headquarters is still up there.
Yeah.
I know that back in the day there was I doubt, well, I don't know, but I'm not sure it was Project Adventure, but the tech had a ropes course.
That's okay.
And then I think, like, could that be another resource where if we need to build things, are one of the departments at the tech,
Oh.
something that we could reach out to, and, and make it more of a community. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm sure I'm thinking bigger than I should
Well,
be.
it's kind of like how they used to do, like, the old playgrounds, like the Castle in the Clouds and all that stuff. Like that was like the community came together to build a kid's playground.
Right.
And it was like all these people are involved.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a neat way to do it. I mean,
Even a low one, so that it's safe. I don't know. I just,
Yeah, because there's this spider web thing that they have and elements like that where they have to cooperate.
peanut butter pit.
I don't know that one.
Peanut butter pit, all you need is, railroad ties in a giant rectangle.
Oh,
And then you're basically playing the floor is lava, and you give them planks. And they have to get the whole group from one side to the other.
Wow.
Wow.
But there's even like small stuff. We used to do this thing with a ball, and it was how quick can you get the ball to pass around, to pass through the group, with it going by everybody's hands.
Mm-hmm.
I think the record was under a second.
Jesus.
A bunch of engineers figured
That's
that one out.
amazing.
Wow.
20 people.
Yeah.
They all just made their hands into a giant circle, and one person was holding it, and they said, "Ready?" And they just dropped it through all the hands. Instead of it being like, "Okay, go," and you got all these people
And passing
passing the
it.
ball around, they're like, "Yay, 30 seconds." I'm like, "The record's under a second."
Wow.
And they're like, "What?" Figure it out.
Jeff, you got some research to do.
I
that's
know.
right.
What is the date
I
of our
do
next
really like-
meeting?
Be, hold on,
It would
wait
be
for
pretty
it.
cool.
No, we usually
new
We
games.
used to do the leadership lock-in at the middle school too. They don't do that anymore.
I know.
Oh.
So it's a third Monday,
Those were
right?
good.
So
Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
that would be.
That we did Project Adventure at the lock-in.
I feel like Jackson would love that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like you'd probably almost need to get like
The
a search
21st?
committee together, because it'd probably that like rec departments from both towns would want to be involved.
I'm having
Possibly
a
phys ed.
procedure done that afternoon.
Geez,
But
the
it's not-
facilities, man, like.
I should be. able
Yeah,
to-
I mean, it's a
know,
bigger,
Everybody would want to kind of have like a say, especially if
have
there's
to.
going to be on town property.
right. Well, and then I
hope
think
that didn't
of
come up tonight.
what's the funding? The
CPC.
CPC funding
Yeah.
could be something.
If it's
Oh.
a town project,
Hmm.
Yeah.
yes.
So it's, I think, starting a seed of an idea, but I'm happy to reach
Yeah.
out to Kathy.
Exciting.
Unless,
Well, I'll reach out to Project Adventure headquarters.
if you do that, I'll email Kathy.
Okay, yeah, we'll just kind of start from there.
Okay. Did you have a date? Did you find the date?
The 21st, which is a Monday, it's the Monday of Thanksgiving week, so if people feel like they'd rather meet the following week, the
Do
28th.
you mean at 5 or
I will
5:30?
not be here on the
5:30.
21st.
You won't?
And it's
Oh,
fall
you won't?
sports night.
You.
Fall sports night,
Oh, it
so
is? So do you want to
she
do
won't be here, and I.
You wanna
So
do
should
the
we do the 28th?
28th?
You are a fall athlete.
Mom, I do cross country.
That's
That's an
a
athlete.
sport.
That's jockey.
So are we saying the 28th?
Can you
yes.
be there?
Okay.
At 5:30?
At 5:30?
Okay.
We keep going back and forth.
Oh, do you want to do 5? I
No,
didn't think
I
people could
just-
be here by 5.
And does the chair reserve the room, or does the clerk reserve the room?
I believe it's the chair, and so right now I think they have us in for the 17th, so if you could make that change.
To the 28th.
Yeah.
Do I just call the,
Start with the selectman's office.
Ellen?
Yeah, yeah,
Ellen.
Ellen Powell.
yep, I'll reach out to Ellen.
Okay.
Great.
So, clerk, chair, are you vice chair or am I vice chair?
I could be vice chair. I just have to get sworn in because I've been busy in the morning, but I'm not anymore. So,
Is that why it says that there's one committee member shy or something like that? I thought that was because Holly,
Oh, maybe. I know we should find someone else.
I know, yeah. I was thinking about approaching the middle school. Is there a middle school parent council? Is there such a creature?
No.
what would be a group at the middle school that we could draw people out of?
The
I was
school
thinking of
council?
one person to recruit, actually.
Oh, good.
What about Amy Young?
Yes.
Because her husband's a Chatham or JMO. We could have another guy.
Yeah.
Amy or Jamie Young. Because their daughter Pearl is in like
Fourth?
3rd grade.
Mm-hmm.
What about Mrs.
And then their
Vasquez?
son Ryder is in 6th grade.
Yep, yep. Yeah, I think he plays hockey with Lee Stockwell, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think he plays hockey.
Mm-mm.
No?
You're thinking of Ryder Long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can ask
Yeah,
Amy.
would you
Yeah, ask
approach her? Because
Amy.
I'm not allowed to approach anybody.
Yeah. You
Or
could ask
Jamie.
Mrs. Vastowskis too.
I could. She has 2 sons in that. Well, actually, Shay's a 5th grader. Cohen's in 3rd grade, I think.
Committees still have to be, you have to be living in the town. Okay.
She does.
Live in Harwich, yeah.
All right.
All right, do,
I move that we adjourn.
a second?
Second. I mean,
Third.
All right, we're adjourned.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned.